in moments when this movement couldn't dig up like another reason to attack us, they would just kind of move on to other groups who they perceived to be like us, all while doing the work of erasing all of those people's and our actual jobs and interest and papering over it with kind of that rallying cry of far-right supremacy, DEI.
A funny thing happened when I was editing my video talking about how Sweet Baby Inc.'s website was completely dismantled and removed a whole bunch of very vital information that allowed us to use them as a resource to find out what games they worked on so we knew what we could avoid. They took away all the game companies, all the client lists, all the games they used to work on, and it's just a straight up bare bones website right now. And I was editing that video and I was like, oh, I need some B-roll footage because I talk about Kim Belair here. Let me look her up. You know what I typically do when I'm making a video? I like to emphasize and drive home the points. So I look up the information. And sure enough, wouldn't you know it, they posted a video that same day of Kim Belair talking at the XOXO Fest about the hate campaign that gamers have gone on against Sweet Baby Inc. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. And this video that I stumbled upon last night accidentally exposes exactly what the thinking is behind the scenes at Sweet Baby Inc., how they refuse to take any accountability whatsoever for their actions, and how they off-put and place the blame on the gaming community in general to enable Sweet Baby Inc. to play the perpetual victim, going so far as to up to and including hating on Elon Musk and calling him a buffoon, because apparently it's totally fine for Kim Belair and Sweet Baby Inc. to call other people names, but God forbid anyone hold Sweet Baby Inc. accountable for the awful things that they do. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out SmashJT.com for the full article breaking down how Kim Belair took the stage at the XOXO Fest 2024, discussing the hate campaign against Sweet Baby Inc. and just how awful gamers are in general, and why Sweet Baby Inc. is just so misunderstood. And if people would just let them do their thing, there wouldn't be any problems. They could take the money from these game companies, completely ruin the franchises, and everyone's happy.
What happens when you get harassed is also that you realize all you have is each other. And you can maybe call it trauma bonding, but when there are no prizes and no funds and no vacations and as compensation, right, and the only thing you have on your plate is suddenly your widely derided work, you also start to make more space for each other. You start to recognize that the work will sometimes feel thankless, but that you still love it. And you love it, fortunately or unfortunately, because you get to do it together as a team, and for us, that means we're doing it as Sweet Baby Inc.
Kim Belair attempted to paint a rosy picture of her company and herself as the perpetual victims of an unjust hate campaign at the XOXO Fest 2024, but she conveniently left out any context whatsoever, important key details explaining why the gaming community, up to and including Elon Musk, have taken issue with SBI in the first place.
In my circles, I'm largely considered, I think, a relatively nice person. These are my dogs, Sage and Flaky. These are my cats, Tag and the Gray Boy. I really enjoy Lego. I collect skulls and taxidermy, and I also really like playing a lot of video games, including Elden Ring.
Notice how she takes the approach of, oh, I'm just this girl in the game industry, and I'm just totally misunderstood, you know. I just want to make the games great. We got these great people working with us, but these awful gamers are just trying to ruin our lives with this awful hate campaign.
Yeah, it made us realize that this was huge. We were being attacked in a massive and coordinated campaign of harassment, and that sucks. But it does get me closer to the question of what happens when you get harassed.
Belair presents herself as a narrative expert, but after painfully watching this entire speech, it was clear that her true expertise lies in the lies, spinning a story where her company is always the wronged party, and never, ever acknowledging any wrongdoing or accountability ever. Have you guys noticed a trend here, by the way, with people on that side? How they refuse to accept any accountability, how they refuse to tell the full story, how they refuse to say, oh, you know what? Could have been better here. That's why this is happening. No, there is zero acknowledgement of that. It's always someone else's fault. The perpetual victim syndrome. It is happening right here, clear as day.
That's me. I'm the CEO. I have issues. But yeah, this went on for weeks and then months. At its peak, which was somewhere around like February, March of this year, we were getting something like 300 emails a day, which admittedly some of those are going to be spam or bots or whatever it is, but they were often accompanied by death threats, threats to our family. We did have one bomb threat made to the police that they contacted us about, and at best, the nicest thing you would see in some of these spaces was that we were a punchline. But any defenders were really, really shouted down quite quickly. And in moments when this movement couldn't dig up like another reason to attack us, they would just kind of move on to other groups who they perceived to be like us.
The audience was being fed the idea that Sweet Baby Inc. is just a small, kind group of lovingly passionate developers that just have a passion for making games awesome, and they were being targeted by harassment by the awful gamers in the community. She made zero mention of why people are genuinely upset at them. It was honestly baffling how anyone could listen to this and not come away with questions. Is it SBI that's the problem? No, it must be the gamers, because they're holding us accountable, and that's not okay. That's not acceptable, because we're just these nice people like Chris Kindred that tried to get Kabrutus canceled, tried to get me fired from my job, calling me a racist when he called in with his own phone number, by the way, which showed up there, and I saw it because I looked it up, and his phone number's on his own website. Or how we had people like Cameron Wild, another Sweet Baby Inc. employee, who once gave a presentation within the past year talking about anti-white rhetoric, how white people are really the problem in all of this, and hating the game industry, wanting to burn it down.
That discomfort, or the place where whiteness doesn't have to live, is where some of the best stories are told.
And I'm not even going to get into Maya Felix Kramer and the awful things that person has been saying online for a very long time, now that they've migrated over to Blue Sky, which all these people always do, because apparently it's Elon Musk's fault for buying Twitter and giving people, I don't know, free speech, and they can't handle it because it doesn't fit their narrative, so in turn, everyone else is a problem, so we now need to run away.
As ridiculous and stupid as it all was, I actually was not prepared for the escalation of it when noted buffoon and Twitter CEO Elon Musk decided that he would chime in with his very cool thoughts. Yeah, some very cool, very good thoughts in there. Lots to think about.
Belair even took a moment to throw a jab at Elon Musk, who she labeled herself as noted buffoon, almost as if she's allowed to call other people names or whatever she wants, but as soon as anyone labels her, it's, oh no, everyone's a racist bigot, rules for me, not for thee, in full swing with all of this.
This was hard the whole time, like not since the beginning it wasn't great, but we were receiving countless emails, all this constant hate. It was targeted enough to feel disconcerting even when it was kind of silly, and it was also kind of drowning out the support. But when Elon chimed in, it really made me realize the scale of it, because the richest man in the world was suddenly turning like the Eye of Sauron onto 16 people trying to make a pretty modest living in the industry that they love, and he was arguing for our collapse. And this meant that, it was when this happened and when it got bigger than this, you can tell I got it early as a screenshot, but it made us realize that this was huge. We were being attacked in a massive and coordinated campaign of harassment, and that sucks.
The reality is, companies that continue to work with Sweet Baby Inc. always seem to find themselves mired in failure and financial ruin, on the verge of bankruptcy, or straight up going bankrupt. Their involvement seems to almost guarantee failure. But rather than address the concerns honestly and upfront, Kim Belair continues to weave this tale where Sweet Baby Inc. is the perpetual victim, refusing to take any responsibility for her team's actions, and instead blaming the entire world for the problems that have been created because of Sweet Baby Inc.'s existence.
Hey, a narrative development company, what does that mean? I'm really interested. We were instead found by kind of, 4chan and the worst people on Twitter. And looking back, there is a funny element to it where I go like, people were kind of talking like, I've discovered a secret Canadian company, like these are the guys who did it. And the discovery that they had made was actually like our public-facing website that we advertise our services on, and which you can go to right now if you'd like to collaborate with us or just learn more. It's not hidden.
I gotta be honest with you guys, watching this presentation was stomach-turning. It was an exercise in watching someone dodge accountability while also claiming to be targeted unfairly. The sad truth is, this isn't about harassment or hate campaigns at all. This is about the gaming community rightfully calling out an awful company with awful people occupying it who have failed to deliver on the projects and also act with impunity, causing harm to others without any consequences or accountability. The gamers are not the problem here, Kim. You are. Accept it, take some accountability, and be proactive next time you give one of these speeches saying, hey, you know what? Some of our employees have done some things that are reprehensible, horrific, things that no one at any company should ever do to anyone ever. And for that, we are taking the appropriate response at our company. We have taken the steps to rectify that, and hopefully moving forward will be better for it. But here's the thing with Sweet Baby Inc. and Kim Belair specifically. I don't know David Bedard as much, but I'd assume the same with him as well, because obviously not a sexist thing here. It's just what it is. These people are not equipped to be CEOs of a company. They are letting their employees run wild, do whatever the hell they want, say whatever the hell they want, ruin the game community, attack the gamers, and then cry victim when people give it right back to them. This is the perpetual victim mentality, and these people up top are not prepared to hold their own employees accountable. Because of that, it's all falling apart. So at this point, Kim, take some accountability. Make an apology to the community. Tell everyone you're sorry, you did the wrong thing, you took the wrong approach, you are fully understanding and grasping what's happening here, and you are making severe changes to what your company has been doing, the people that work there, to put it on the right track. But we already know that's not going to happen. I'm just saying this is why everyone hates you, as you always say it, because we want the games to be better, and we don't want to be fed BS, which you keep doing every time you have one of these presentations. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information or the full video, if you want to sit through this, I will link it in the description below on the smashjt.com article. If you appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
What happens when you get harassed is that you forget who you are, but then you remember. We are writers, we are storytellers, we are narrative designers, we are creative, we are passionate, we are funny, and we are doing this because we love it. We love it so much, in fact, that we'll do it even through the worst months of our lives, because our lives ultimately are about stories. And as I wrap up, I want to say that that's frustrating too, because it makes it really hard to talk about. There is an instinct, I think, in all of us, or at least a desire to tell a good story. And this whole thing, whatever it is, isn't a very good story. There's not much of an arc, and frankly, there is no resolution as yet. Sometimes a story is just what happens.